Hey, Brad Blackman here from bradblackman.com. Today I'm going to tell you about the dangerous inspiration, the bad habit I used to have, the risky thing I used to do, and why I don't do it anymore. So, I used to take pictures while I was driving. I know, it's dangerous and it's risky, but it made its way into a lot of my paintings for a long time. Like, look at this back here. And then it evolved a little bit, and I'll tell you about that here in just a minute. Back before the hands-free Tennessee law passed, sometime last year, about this time last year, I would take pictures of things while driving. But since then, I've quit doing that. And I'm not sure if it has to do with the law being passed or just the evolution of my painting style. It's probably a combination of both. But for years, I would carry a camera around in the car with me. It was this one. It was a first generation digital Rebel. It needs a new battery. The battery does not hold a charge, and it's only like 8 megapixels. My phone has bigger megapixels than this, but with an SLR you can get a lot more control with the lens and exposure and everything. But it all started out because I've been obsessed with two things: overpasses and fog. And there has been a lot of that in my paintings over the years. See, I've been long been fascinated with the lines and the shapes that emerge from overpasses. It all started when I was at one of my first jobs out of college, driving across town, over and under bridges, and I became just obsessed with the angles and lines and the light and shadow. And then I would snap photos. I had a film camera, a film Rebel. I would get that out, but I'm not really sure where that is. I think it's in the attic somewhere, and I'm not going there. But I would take photos, get the prints done, scan those into Photoshop, and manipulate the colors. And then I would print out the manipulated photos and then paint that. And as I manipulated those photos on the canvas and in Photoshop, I grew more and more abstract. And you can see how this is all about the lines. It's all about the lines and the shadows, and you see the overpass here on this canvas, but it's very abstract. And the overpasses got more and more abstract, and then eventually I felt like I had done everything I could do with that. So I quit doing all the overpasses, but I still carried a camera around with me. And by that point, it was an iPhone, and this is my old one. You see how cracked that got. I even had to tape it together because the glass was coming apart. So after carrying around an SLR or a digital SLR, I carried my iPhone, and I would snap photos of fog and things like that, because on my drive to work, you have to remember that Nashville is down in a valley, and I've always lived in the suburbs and drove into town or through town to get from one side to the other. And because it's down in a valley and there's a big river that goes through Nashville, there tends to be a lot of fog in the mornings, especially in the part of town where I live now. And fog has had this mysterious allure for me for a very long time, and I keep incorporating that into my artwork. Now, I don't drive around taking pictures anymore. Part of that is, again, because of the evolution of my style, but I'm not driving that much anymore. We all went on lockdown 3 months ago. Wow, has it been that long? 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and you know, I'm not driving around. I'm not driving past that foggy field every morning, dropping my kids off at school. So, but I really haven't been painting either. So it's kind of been an unusual situation right now. But I am still fascinated with fog and overpasses. And in fact, this overpass right here is in Nashville. It's where 440 and I-65 come together. It doesn't look like this anymore. It's been redone. They've been working on it for about the past year and a half. They're almost finished, but they've closed everything in together. There's not this gap in the where the two roads go over like that. They closed it in, so it looks different now. And one thing I've noticed is when I do paint something like this, it inevitably changes. So that's another really interesting thing about painting when you paint a place. And then the more abstract things that I paint, the more imaginary things that I paint, I predict those things will change because of my own personal evolution. So it's always fun to look at your own growth, or look at my own growth through my art, not just how the place I live changes over time, but the place I live up here. So that's it, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. And tell me if you have a dangerous habit that you used to do. I would love to hear about it. So for me, it was taking pictures while driving, and again, I don't recommend it. That's a good way to have an accident. So don't do that. Thankfully, I've never had an accident with my phone in my hand. Whew. And I hope that doesn't happen. So stay safe out there, guys. Talk to you soon. Take care.